Happy 4th of July. I hope all of you out there are having a fantastic day. Another loaded show coming your way on Philadelphia 76ers Now. I'm Chase Sr. Could James Harden really return to the 76ers? Brian Windhorst, Adrian Wojnarowski both saying there's an opportunity for that, and Daryl Morey just can't help himself. Before we dive into all of this, make sure you subscribe to the show, and I want to say thanks to all of you for supporting the program here. We just surpassed 11,000 subscribers, but we're not stopping here. I want to make this the go-to best Sixers YouTube channel out there on YouTube. So let's keep it moving. Hit that sub button for year-round coverage on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sixers. The latest on James Harden on this fine Tuesday. So let's look at the timeline here. Last Thursday, Adrian Wojnarowski reported that Harden would opt into the final year of his $35.5 million contract, and Philadelphia would work with him on a trade. That's when we went live on 76ers Now. Adrian Wojnarowski had even said, it seems as though James Harden has played his last game as a 76er. We thought it was a foregone conclusion that he was going to be gone. A couple of days later, Monday, Brian Windhorst saying the Sixers don't think it's over with Harden. And on Tuesday, an update from Woj, Philadelphia could want to keep the beard in the city of brotherly love. And I can't help but think about this. Are the Philadelphia 76ers, after having that listless choke of a loss in Game 7 against the Boston Celtics, really going to run it back with James Harden, who was a no-show in that Game 7, the blossoming star in Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, who has been awful in some of these high-altitude playoff games, P.J. Tucker and Joel Embiid? Is this going to be the team that we're going to see once again under Nick Nurse? And is a coaching change really going to move the needle for this basketball team all that much? What I also am concerned about is the lack of depth for this team moving forward. You bring in Patrick Beverley. Finally, you have a legitimate point guard. He's so Philadelphia. It's incredible. I think that the Sixers are going to bring back Paul Reed. You have DeAnthony Melton, Daniel House, Jaden Springer. I don't think he can play. Filip Petrusev didn't really display that much to me in his Summer League debut. And then Furkan Korkmaz hasn't done anything in a couple of years. So what inspires you hope that the Sixers are actually going to be able to get past the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2001 with the same exact roster that they had a season ago? Ex-Doc Rivers, bring in Nick Nurse. Here's what Woj had to say about Harden here. Sixers would love to keep Harden next season. Daryl Morey believes his relationship with Harden could help change his current thoughts on returning. Still talking to teams about a potential Harden trade, mainly the Los Angeles Clippers. More from Woj here. He said this process could play out all the way until training camp begins in September. We want an early resolution because we want to look forward to the Sixers' upcoming season. We want to have hope. We want to have belief that finally the Sixers can be a legitimate NBA championship contender. And if they run it back with this same roster, I don't have any confidence that the Sixers can actually get past the second round. They're not better than Miami, especially if Damian Lillard gets traded to the Heat. They're not better than the Celtics team that blew the doors off of the Sixers in Game 7. They're not better than the Milwaukee Bucks, who have made a bunch of additions in free agency, brought back Chris Middleton. Got Malik Beasley, who hit the most three-pointers off the bench among all bench players in the NBA last year, and have Giannis Antetokounmpo. And remember what happened with the Ben Simmons saga. He didn't play at all. Daryl Morey did not budge. He didn't trade him until he believed he got the maximum value for Ben Simmons. And who's to say that Daryl Morey is just going to give away James Harden for nothing? He is going to milk this out as long as it can go until he either gets top-tier value back for James Harden or he can convince him to come back in hopes that they can chase an NBA championship. Like I said at the top of the show, happy 4th of July to all my fellow Sixers fans and Philadelphians out there. And it's pretty fitting, 76ers, birthplace of America, Declaration of Independence signed, 1776 on this fine July 4th. all those years ago. So if you're proud to rep Philly and this basketball team, spam 76 as many times as you can down in that comment section. We also have a great deal we want to tell you about thanks to our friends at Fanatics. The Sixers t-shirt shorts combo was $60. It is now on sale for just $33. Get yours right now. We'll put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. So if the Sixers do bring back Harden, of course, there are some benefits that come with that. They still are one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, and while I don't have a lot of confidence that they can actually make it past that second round for the first time since 2001, they'll at least be players, win a playoff series, and then we'll inevitably get our hearts broken again in round 2. But with Harden coming back, elite assist man, led the NBA in dimes last year. He ran the two-man game really, really effectively alongside Joel Embiid. He still gave the Sixers 21 points per game, 44% from the floor, 38.5% from three, the latter of those numbers, the second best mark of Harden's career. He was excellent hitting game winners and dropping more than 40 points in Game 1 and Game 4 against Boston before he disappeared the final 3 games of that playoff series. His assist-to-turnover ratio is and was the best of his career last year and a very good 3-level scorer. But if the drama ensues and if this plays out and Harden is unhappy, is he going to mope around with bad body language and barely put forward any effort like he did with Houston as well as the Brooklyn Nets? Because at 33 years old, soon to be 34, you have questions about how he ages. He's not always in great shape. He's way too inconsistent. No championship pedigree. And frankly, I don't love the personality either. Now, what I think is interesting is that former Sixers minority owner, the owner of Fanatics, Michael Rubin, had his famous white party over the weekend. James Harden was there as well as a whole host of celebrities, and there was a photo of James Harden speaking with 76ers owner, majority owner, Joshua Harris. Interesting that they would have that conversation because knowing Harden's personality, might try to blow him off and avoid that conversation, but they were seen to be engaging at Michael Rubin's crib in the Hamptons. Will you be in shambles if James Harden does return? I might be, just because I've never been a big Harden guy. Y for yes, N for no. But at the very least, you know that the Sixers, you can at least pencil them in for 50-plus wins. On the bright side, I guess you can look at it in this manner, and I'm always kind of a glass-half-full guy. The Sixers were one game from the Eastern Conference Finals, but I thought they got a little bit lucky. Like, how often is Harden going to hit 2-game winners in one series? And those are 2 wins right there. And then you beat the Celtics a couple of times on the road. Like, that series was a little bit fluky, even though it did go 7 games. Now let's get to this update here from Brian Windhorst. The Sixers are not afraid to let it be known that they don't think necessarily it's over with James Harden. That maybe everybody was just a little bit in their feelings and fired up about the state of negotiations. I really cannot believe that this is happening. When Woj comes out with that report that James Harden is going to ask for a trade, you're thinking that that's going to ring true, right? That there's absolutely no way that James Harden is actually going to come back to the 76ers. And now here we are just a couple of days later, and this might be a saga, like the Ben Simmons saga, that lasts up until September, maybe even longer than that. Let's round out today's show with this. Sixers Summer League is officially underway. They did lose last night in their first Summer League outing in Salt Lake City. Nobody really cares, about the Salt Lake League. It's all about the Las Vegas Summer League. But this is the Sixers Summer League roster here. Jaden Springer, former first-round pick, high-end defensive potential, really bouncy athlete, but his offensive game is just not that impressive in my opinion. Louis King, also going to be playing for the Sixers in the Summer League. Terquavion Smith, hyper-athletic. He will launch from anywhere. North Carolina State last year, we talked about him as an undrafted free agent. He is the guy right now who a lot of people are going to be asking to crack that Sixers rotation. You have Elijah McCadden out of Memphis. Greg Brown, former first-round pick out of Texas. He is also on this team. Azuolas Tubelis, Philip Petrusev, the European draft and stash player, needs to certainly improve a lot. You have DJ Stewart, Ricky Council IV, another one of those intriguing UDFAs out of Arkansas. Marcus Bagley was also signed by the Sixers after the NBA draft. Javonte Smart, Hung-Jung Lee, Maker on the squad, a basketball legend. The real ones know Bryce Griggs and Jordan Tucker rounding out the Sixers Summer League roster. Feel free to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram. Like I said, hope all of you out there are having a fun 4th of July. Myself, producer Coop, a couple people here at Chat Sports. We're in here grinding because that's what we do. At Chase_Senior on both social media platforms. Have a beer for me. I appreciate y'all.